almost here. You can almost feel it. The excitement is in the air. Oh, first of all, we get another week of high school football tonight. You wake up this morning, you walk outside, and the air is beautiful. It is crisp. It feels like football morning. You get that tonight. And then tomorrow, you get college football. Yes, we've had college football last night. Yes, we had college football Wednesday. Yes, we had it last Saturday. But it's different when Alabama, it's different when Auburn kicks off. It just means more, as the SEC says. The SEC season is upon us. Happy Friday, 256-576-4977. You can get in on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline this morning. Give us your expectations. Give us your expectations for Alabama and Miami tomorrow. Give us your expectations for Auburn and Akron tomorrow. What are you expecting to see? What are you hoping to see? What do you want to see from everybody come tomorrow? Last night, some good action on the gridiron. Last night, obviously, Tennessee and the Josh Heupel era got underway in Knoxville. And it was a tale of two, I guess you could say two things. One, yes, Tennessee got a win over Bowling Green. They should get a win over Bowling Green. Bowling Green, not one of the greatest football teams last season. I mean, next to Akron, they were one of the worst football teams in college football last year. Tennessee comes out. Joe Milton looks fantastic. First two drives. I mean, Joe Milton looked great. In fact, Joe Milton, 7 of 9, 68 yards, ran 4 times for a 31 and a score in 2 possessions to start the game. Joe Milton looked great. Joe Milton won the Heisman last year in 1 game. Michigan's win over Minnesota. But then things slowed down. 3 of 13 for 32 yards. Tennessee's offense hit the brakes, hit the skids. Tennessee kind of slowed down a little bit. Yes, they pounded the ball against Bowling Green, which they should have. They outmanned them. But at the same time, too, you have to be pleased the way that Milton looked. You have to be pleased early. But you can see Tennessee is a work in progress. And once they line up against better teams like a Pitt, and when they get into the SEC, Drew, that team could struggle a little bit.
That's an understatement. I mean, they started both halves well and built the 28-6 lead, but let's understand something. 12 of 24 against Bowling Green ain't going to cut it. I mean, and what I mean by that is that doesn't translate. Well, you can beat East Tennessee State, but it's not going to translate against Pitt. It's not going to translate in the SEC. 326 rushing yards is pretty, impressive. Tyon Evans, Jabari Small, they were both good on the ground, but will they be able to do that against a Pitt, Pat Narduzzi, or in the SEC? I very, very, very seriously doubt it. They're going to – and the other thing, too, was they couldn't throw the ball down the field. It was all they were averaging about 6 and 7 yards per attempt. They couldn't get the ball vertically to make big plays, and that's why they only threw for 140 yards as a team, 145, 140 for, as you said, for Joe Milton.
And he missed a lot of open receivers. I mean, he had chances to find – he just didn't find them.
Yeah,
he could not find them.
That was his MO at Michigan, that it's all fastball. You heard Jimmy Himes talk about that this week.
Yeah.
And that and that his accuracy wasn't what it needed to be. So, Hendon Hooker got in at the end of the ball game. So it's going to be really interesting going forward to see how this passing game evolves for Tennessee, because it's going to have to get a lot better. I'm not I just and defensively, the Vols were okay, but and it was a win. I mean, I said it would be comfortable. I thought they'd win by at least 4 scores. They did. They didn't quite cover. I mean, but 38-6. I didn't think that this would be one of those just embarrassing situations. You know, Wolverine
Right.
Dan picked Bowling Green. Of course, I think he's bitter because of Joe Milton. But look, I'm sure when Dan was watching the game, he's like, yeah.
That's the Joe Milton
that's
that
the Joe Milton we've seen at Michigan. So certainly a work in progress for Tennessee. But I will say this, at least they're not the worst football team of the night. The worst football team of the night, South Florida. They are absolutely horrible.
Here is Josh Heupel commenting on his offense.
A couple times that we weren't on the right hat, but I thought the pass game was really hit and miss from us tonight. Some of that was quarterback decision making, then being accurate with the football. Some of it's wide receivers being on the same page. A couple opportunities to catch it that we don't. We're going to have to be a whole lot more efficient in the pass game than we were tonight.
Absolutely.
Understatement, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, South Florida, not very good. Gus Malzahn era got underway last night, and it got underway with a 21. Well, first of all, it got underway with a rather lengthy,
almost 3-hour weather delay, rain and lightning, things of that nature, and then the start was an abomination. They were down twice, 3 touchdowns, 21-0 and 20, and then 3 scores and 24-7. But a great rally though by UCF.
The first drive down the field, UCF was like Gus Malzahn at his best. And Auburn fans can relate to that. I mean, they marched down the field with ease. The UCF quarterback, though, on the goal line throws an interception. The ball goes back 100 yards for a pick 6, something that I mean, the script last night for UCF unfolded like a Gus Malzahn script at Auburn. Big game, provided excitement, and they get a win. All right, the phone lines are full. Let's get out there real fast. Jeff from the Burrows with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Doing good.
Well, I just want to say we got about over 30 games up here canceled for COVID. I know.
Wow.
Kentucky's got about 25, and last week we had about 30, so it's pretty bad up here. It's pretty bad, but I don't know about Alabama, but it's pretty bad up here. I got a guy in Kentucky told me yesterday that they got about 25 canceled. So, but the high school games are not football games, so it's rampant. So, but just didn't watch much last night, but I'm looking forward to watch this weekend. So, there's a lot of different games on. I guess Kentucky, I don't know what they're going to do. I hope they throw it a little bit more, but I still hope they stick to the running game. They got a good offensive line, so I think they'll play okay. I guess I don't know too much, but I guess they'll be all right. So the other games, I'm looking forward to see what Alabama does. With their quarterback. And I was going to say I ran the guy last night. I knew him a little bit. I thought he was a Tennessee fan. He kept checking the score. He told me he was an Auburn fan, and he told me Harsin. He said Harsin will never beat no Saban. He said he won't never beat him. He said he couldn't believe they got rid of Malzahn. Couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe. He said he won't never beat Saban. He said he just couldn't believe they hired him. But we have to wait and see. But I can't believe they fired Malzahn either. And Malzahn made the Auburn fans eat it, I guess, because I read on Twitter some guy said, well, Malzahn's going to get fired at halftime. And one guy says, covers SEC, said he's a high school offensive coordinator and all his business. About how they got behind and all this stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about Harsin. I know y'all talk about him a little bit, but I think he's got a long way to go to get Auburn. They don't need to be turned around really, but I think he's got a long way to go and to do anything at Auburn myself. I don't know why they hired him. I think it's going to be a bad hire. I think he's not going to last. Probably 3-4 years. I think he'll be gone. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I'll get off here, guys. Have a great Labor Day weekend and enjoy the football. See you.
Stay safe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brian Harsin does have a little bit of a road to hoe, and we've talked a lot about the fact that his recruiting has gotten off to a slow start at Auburn. It's picked up a little bit, and he's picked it up a little bit, and we'll continue to sort it out. But we're going to let Brian Harsin play that first game against an overmatched very overmatched Akron team and an Alabama State team, which Auburn will be 2-0. When they go to Penn State, that's when we'll know more about Brian Harsin and what he's got at Auburn.
I agree with that, and also it's like with Tennessee, we'll know more about them too. But the struggles of the passing game have to be a little concerning, just because. But the timing will get better. Hopefully, the accuracy will get better. But 50% completion percentage against someone like that, and not being nearly as efficient as you would want to be, is it's a little bit eye-opening.
Yeah. All right, Spencer's with us this morning as well. Good morning, Spencer.
Good morning, guys. It's always nice to hear Jeff from the Bayou. I can't believe y'all managed to get Ed Orgeron's cousin on this early in the morning, man. It's really nice to hear that. I never understand what he's saying, but it always is what it is.
Kind of sounds like "Go Tigers."
Yeah. What did you think of Ohio State's defense last night? 'Cause every time I turned around, it seemed like Minnesota was putting the ball against them.
Well, they struggled a little bit, Spencer, no doubt about it. I mean, they got off to a fast start and they were up 10-0, but I thought they did a nice job of counterpunching. Minnesota did, and they ran the football pretty well. Then were able to supplement that, hitting some throws in the passing game, and especially in the red zone. And them being up 14-10 was pretty eye-opening at halftime. And then it started going back and forth. Of course, Minnesota made just enough mistakes, giving up with the interceptions and the strip sack touchdown to lose to a team like Ohio State, because Ohio State's more talented. So if the Gophers are going to win that game, they can't they can't turn the ball over and give up quick change scores like that. But certainly, I thought Ohio State looked pretty good offensively. They do have big playability. Defensively, though, yeah, I mean, and again, Minnesota may be pretty good, but I would just say the Ohio State's going to have to, clean some things up on defense, because I didn't think they were a championship level unit last night. Of course, it's just game one. But certainly some things to work on for the Buckeyes.
And I feel bad for Minnesota. I mean, they lose probably one of the best running backs in the Big Ten for the season.
So he is out for the year. I mean, I know
he ruptured his Achilles.
So they were wondering how bad the injury was going to be. I had not heard if it was officially an Achilles. I know people were saying it looked like an Achilles, but if he's out for the year, that really hurts row the boat.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this, guys. Talking about Alabama and Miami for a second, man. Alabama's always struggled with the mobile quarterback. Do you think that defense – I know we're supposed to have a good defense this year. Do you think that defense is going to be able to contain DeArmond King?
I mean, they've seen enough of it. You don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, they've seen mobile quarterbacks time and time again. I think he reminds me of Tyrod Taylor, and Tyrod was certainly a fine player for Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech, and has gone on to a long and lengthy pro career as a starter mostly as a backup. But I think he's a little bit smaller than that. Also, a lot of people want to talk about Shoelace in Michigan when they had to face him, even though Shoelace was never a great passer. I think DeArmond King's a lot better passer than he was when Alabama faced Michigan and then Dallas to open the 2012 season. But certainly, I would say this Miami Hurricane team is probably better than that Michigan team. But I think overall he's a really good player. And I always put a lot of stock in Nick Saban when you have a year to prepare for something. And I think they'll definitely be ready for DeArmond King. And, Spencer, how healthy is DeArmond King? We know he's going to play, but, how healthy is he?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I hope it's a better game tomorrow than that 2012 Michigan game, because that one wasn't even a competition. But let me go ahead and say, I heard you yesterday after I got off, said that you thought Clemson was going to pull away with the victory over Georgia. Man, I got to go the other way. I think Georgia has the ability to win this ball game tomorrow, and basically on the back of their quarterback and their defense. And I think, they'll slip up against somebody that they shouldn't lose to like they always do. But I think they're going to start the year off with a win and go ahead and give the Heisman Trophy to that QB.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people believe in JT Daniels and believe in Georgia, and certainly they're going to get a chance against Clemson to make a statement on Saturday night.
SEC's not going to lose at all this weekend. Y'all have a good day.
All right, thanks, Spencer. Well, JT Daniels talking just about that. He downplayed the importance of this game.
I approach it the same way I approach anybody else, which would be it's another game of football. And I think everyone, Georgia and Clemson should see it the same way. As big and as cool as this game is, it's week 1. It's you can beat Clemson by 100 and lose the rest of the season, not make the SEC. Clemson could win by 100, and you could, we could lose to Clemson by 100 and then win the SEC, and everything goes our way. In terms of this game specifically, I think it's an awesome stage, great competition. It's a great way to see where we're at, see what we need to improve on. I'm sure Clemson will see it the same way. And, we go from there, play our game, and then as soon as that game's over, we're focused on UAB.
Well, I know he's being facetious here, but I would highly recommend not losing by 100.
But is it? I mean, and he's like, well, I'm hoping Clemson sees it the same way. I mean, is it? I mean, yes, I know it is just one game of 9, but I can't help to go back to SEC media days and and be sitting there at the table and being told that JT Daniels is not doing any more interviews because he is frazzled. And I hear him talk there, and
he may frazzle Clemson. We'll see.
He sounds frazzled right there.
But I'll just say this: he's definitely from California, and 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 what I mean by that is he's a laid back, different kind of guy.
Right.
Because
right.
you could tell he's like, we're not getting too low,